Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's MTPredictor video, I'd like to look at how the USE minis unfolded yesterday, which was the 29th of August. Particularly I want to look at the NQ because this was a setup that was mentioned by one of our customers who was actually in the trading webinar at the time, so I thought it'd be a good one to follow up on. Let's go to the 15-minute chart to start with, because this is what we do. If we go out to the 15-minute chart, you can see the market opened up here to start with. So if we go back to the prior pivot, which was here, we place the decision point on, you can see that at this level the market came up, hit this decision point level and was starting to decline quite nicely. Where is it going to decline to? Well, if we go down here, what our customer pointed out was if we go back to the prior pivot, which was this low here on the 28th, again on the 15-minute chart we place this decision point out here, and remember these are leading indicators. These are on our chart in advance before the market even gets there. He pointed out that this was 15-minute support. So let's go down to the 3-minute chart and see how this looked. Well, as you can see, that caught the high nicely and there was a lovely decline down there, so we were actually looking at a short trade off that bar down into the DP support there for plus 2.8 hour profit, which would have been very nice. However, that's not what the customer was really looking at. So if I just take this DP off and I take the risk reward off, what he was looking at was the support here, and in particular the VSA bar on this bar here, which was the 1009 bar using IQ feed data. And here's our VSA coloured bar on our volume settings. So what he was saying was this bar here made a new low below prior important lows. So if we put low tag on this particular pivot, you can see there was a low there. You can see that this bar, which was the 1009 bar, came through, made new lows. It then failed to follow through the next bar, but more importantly found support at the 15-minute support. So this was actually a VSA setup. So in other words, we have a high volume bar as found by our VSA indicator here. The next bar we then found support, in this particular case larger degree support at the 15-minute DP, and that gave an indication for the market was going to rally. Where was it going to rally to? Well, we go back to the last swing. This is the last swing down here. We take the DP off the last swing, and again this is projected in advance, and as you can see the market did exactly what was anticipated, rallied right up to that high there, and in fact actually if I scroll out that was the high of the day. So what would the trade setup have been in and around this? Well, let's right mouse click, let's place our risk reward on, three clicks. First click on the bar of entry, which is this one. Bar of the stop would have been this one, and then our target would have been up here at this DP here. So as you can see, this would have produced a lovely plus 4.9 hour profit, and even better than that, if I scroll out, this would have actually had you long from the very bar of the low of the day and actually taken you out at pretty much the high of the day. It came up there and made sort of double top later on. In fact, there was a nice tier 3 buy set up to catch that last rally as well. But as you can see, a very, very nice trade there indeed. Now in our webinar we were looking at this as well, and both John and myself were a bit skeptical on this, and the main reason because it was the day before a holiday. I'm recording this on September the 1st, which is actually the Labor Day holiday in America, so we were thinking, well, this is the day before the Labor Day holiday, traders are going to be going on holiday, therefore you're unlikely to get strong rallies. Well, the market had other opinions, and this is a good example of where you trade the setup and not trade the opinion. So personally I would have actually missed this because I thought the market wasn't going to rally quite as strongly, but as you can see it did, and it rallied absolutely perfectly. So I thought this was a good one to show you, particularly as it was highlighted by one of our customers in our trading webinar, and it was a great example of our MTPredictor VSA setup. And these are great because as you can see you very often get very strong rallies or very strong moves off these VSA setups, particularly like this one because it came in right from the low of the day, or bar of the low of the day, where our support zone hit right up to the high of the day, where again our resistance zone was indicated here. Remember, these levels are on the chart in advance. Does this VSA setup always work this well? Well, of course it doesn't. Let's have a look at our the Russell index. Here you can see we also had another important high. If we go and place a tag on that, you can see this bar here, which was the 1057 bar, made a new high through this prior pivot. We go back, this was actually a VSA bar as well. What do we do on this? We go back to our prior high, we placed the decision point on, and we can see the market went into the decision point resistance, then made a red sell bar the very next bar. Our target for this would have been down here, and our trade setup would have been in around this red sell bar. Potentially a very good trade, but as you can see, this would have taken you in for a short trade excuse me, and then stopped you out for a -1 hour loss. This is the key to trading, and why we use correct position sizing, in that when we're wrong, we keep our losses small. In this case, it would have been a small -1 or 1 risk unit loss, but on the Nasdaq here, when you're right, in this case it was plus 4.9, or almost 5 times the profit. So having trade strategies where your losses are kept small but your profits are large is the key to successful trading. So anyway, I thought that was a good one to follow up on, particularly as I actually missed this one because I thought the markets were going to be quiet on the day before a trading holiday, but nevertheless one of our customers caught this absolutely perfectly, and it was, looking at it now, an absolutely perfect VSA setup, coming in at DP support to DP resistance with a lovely trade there for potential 5R. So a good one to show MTPredictor and how it unfolded yesterday, particularly on the Nasdaq here, and this one of our favorite manual trade setups.